Just wanted to say hi to the person who forgot about their 2024 goals already. Remember in the beginning of the year when you said you were going to change your life? Remember you bought that planner that you never used? Remember when you told yourself you were going to level up your life and you watched all those manifestation videos and you even probably made a vision board that you have not looked at and or touched in months? Well, if you are dealing with those things, this video is for you. In this video, I'll give you a step-by-step breakdown on how we are going to reinvent our life still with 6 months left. The year is not over. We still have plenty of time. So first, you need to figure out what are two categories that you want to start your goals in. The reason why I say two categories is because I want us to be realistic. A lot of times when you were making that vision board and doing all those other things, you were not realistic. Hypothetically thinking, if you only achieved one thing last year or two things last year, what makes you feel like you're going to achieve 10 things this year? And it's not to be rude and it's not saying that you can't do it, but I'm more so focusing on quality over quantity. Yes, technically you can do a lot of small things, right? 10 small things. But why would you not want to do one or two big things that are going to be of better value and of better quality? I think a lot of times too, we become so addicted to achieving things that if somebody told you they only achieved two things this year and somebody else told you they achieved 20 things this year, you would assume that that person who achieved 20 must work harder. They must be smarter. They must really be going towards their goals, when their definition of achieving something was just paying their bills, or their definition of achieving something was, oh, well, I started this business. Did it make any money? No. Did you find any customers? No. Did you actually achieve anything with the business? No. But they technically did achieve a goal of starting a business. Contrary to another individual who only achieved two things this year, but maybe that one achievement is they finally made six figures. Maybe another achievement is that they finally got the right body weight that they wanted to get, or they started to get the physique that they wanted. I say that to say, figure out the categories in which you want to start achieving things in. For example, my two categories are career and it is with fitness. And then once you figure out what categories you want to do, figure out what specific goal do you want to achieve. I always try to tell y'all, be specific as possible. The better you can measure something, the easier it is for you actually to break down to achieve it. When you have those hypothetical goals, it's a lot harder. For example, for career, I want to become a full-time YouTuber and I want to get 264,000 followers. And I'm going to tell you guys how I got to that exact number and how you could do something similar. The same thing with fitness. I want to get a certain physique. So I'm not necessarily focused, honestly, on body weight, because I noticed that it really depends on what kind of exercises you're doing. And when I was doing weights, I noticed that I was the same weight technically on the I almost said the scoreboard, on the scale, but my body measurements were different. So I'm really not too much focused on getting a specific weight. I do want to gain a little bit of weight, but it's more so on physique. So what I did is I ordered from Amazon the seamstress tape. So I take my measurements, and so now I have specific measurements that I want to be in certain areas that I measure. So I did like my bust, I did my waist, I did my thighs, things like that. I say that to say you need to figure out a specific number, a specific thing that you want to achieve. We are not saying we want to be healthier. We are not saying we want to be prettier. Like, you need to have something specifically. Yes, you have categories in which, like, for example, the me getting a certain physique that does fall into like the health and wellness category. But then what is something specific? That is the actual goal. So let me tell you guys how I actually got specifically to my number. Make a list similar to the one that I'm going to show you here of month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you notice on this list, it is increasing. What messes up a lot of people is that you try to accomplish the same thing every single month, and that literally makes no sense. In the beginning of the year, I had a hypothetical goal as well as far as growing on YouTube. And I said I wanted to get to 100,000 followers. So when I broke that up, let's say hypothetically, I broke it up into 3 months, I would say I want to get 25,000 this month, 25,000 next month, 25,000 next month, 4 months, sorry, 25,000 next month, right? So I said in 4 months, I want to get to 100,000. I really was just thinking about it as far as breaking it up, but then I didn't think about it as far as actually experiencing things and that making sense. It does not make sense. If I got to 25,000 in 1 month, why would I still keep doing the same thing every single month? That means either that goal is not challenging enough for me, which is going to ultimately end up into being a problem, or that probably means that I'm not growing. because it's like you need to have some kind of growth. So if you see here, I started out with 4,000 followers the first month because last month I got roughly 2,000 followers more, right? And then I double it. The next month I wanted to get to 8,000. Then I double it. The next month I want to get to 16,000 more followers. And then I said, on the list in black, it says the exact number I need to get to. And then on red, it shows how much I'm actually growing by each month. The reason why this is very imperative is because it shows me my ultimate goal. So when I came up with that number of 264,000, it wasn't like oh, that sounds like a good number. I literally did the math on what will make sense for me. And I think that's another great thing for people to do as well, because it's so easy to say, I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to lose 40 pounds. I want to lose a certain number. But then if you kind of do a metric of what you did before and where you are now and doing it slow, as you can slowly progress and get better, it makes it, in my opinion, more achievable for you, and it makes it more individualistic to you. I mentioned it on so many videos before, but a thing that messed up a lot of us is that a lot of our goals are so broad. We see other people lose a certain amount of weight or do this or do that, so we just assume that we should want to do that thing too, and it doesn't work out the same for everyone. Another thing, when it even comes to, my measurements, the thing about that is I'm actually not starting my fitness goal until 2 months into my career YouTube goal. The reason is I really want you guys to figure out what is important to you and why is this thing important to you. Because with achieving these goals, I want you to understand, like I said before in the beginning, you try to achieve too many goals at once. And so you start to literally not even have enough energy to put in the necessary things to get to that goal. So for example, if you're like, oh, I'm trying to get my fitness together, I'm trying to build this business, I'm trying to go on YouTube, I'm trying to do all this other stuff, it's but so much energy that you have in you, just as a human being. And if you think about it, you could only provide 10% here, 10% here. Here, you might even only be able to provide 5%. I say that to say you're giving away bits and pieces of you instead of saying, you know what, let me focus 100% on here. Let me focus 75% on here. You get what I'm saying? And get to the point where it's like, I can definitely say I really, really tried at this thing and it didn't work. Or I can definitely say this was better for me or that's not better for me. I feel like what messes us up is that we half-ass do stuff a lot of times. And then we'd be like, oh, well, this isn't working for me. And my business isn't growing. And I'm not seeing any weight loss. Yeah, because maybe you need to focus on weight loss instead of also trying to start that business. And you don't even know what you're doing. You get what I'm saying? There's learning pains that come with every single thing that you're going to do in the beginning. And honestly, the first month that you do most stuff starting out is just a blur. The first month you start working out. My first month on YouTube, like anything starting, the first usually 30 days, and that's focused 30 days. It's actually trying 30 days. You're figuring out what you wanted to do. When I first started YouTube, I was trying to post a video almost every single day. If you've been following me for a little bit, I was posting a video like every day, every other day, and it didn't really give me enough time to really pour into my content and really research my content and really be able to enjoy the process because I was just trying to get to a certain number. And so after doing it for a while, I'm like, you know what? This is not an attainable schedule for me. And that's when I got to eventually doing the Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. But I say that to say the first 30 days of doing anything, you're just learning. But give yourself the time to learn. Give yourself the advantage to learn and not have to feel like you're learning to do 30 things at once. Now, if you're somebody that's like, you know what, but I've already kind of started this journey, I've been on this journey before, okay, then maybe you can ramp the other one up and you could start the other one after a month after. I say that to say, to each its own. If you want to start doing both at the same time too, you can do that as well. Personally, I just feel like when you're trying to start out with something new and not even start with something new, maybe you've been on your on again, off again fitness journey for years, but you're like, I really, really, really just want to get invested this time. I personally recommend for the first 30 days, the first month, to only invest in one thing. Allow yourself to mess up. Allow yourself to not have to, feel like you need to do everything perfect because that's when you actually mess up instead of allowing yourself to, you get what I'm saying, fumble and learn along the way. So that's what I definitely recommend to do. Now, obviously, you are going to have to adjust the number a bit, right? Because if I was to adjust it the other way and start my fitness journey first and then a YouTube journey after, the number would not be 264,000. It would be something different. So that's another thing you have to be aware of. That's why I said, figure out your why. Figure out why do you truly want to do this thing? And then you're able to put things in hierarchies. Like this is more important than this, and that's more important than that, kind of thing to figure out like what exactly do you want to do. So now we figured out every single month, what are we growing by? What do we need to achieve? Next, we are going to go into the goal breakdown. If you watch my videos, you probably are familiar with this a bit as well. I've been doing this lately for all my goals just to figure out how are they going to be achievable and how I'm going to maintain them. So of course, at the top, I have my big goal, and that number is going to change. So obviously for the first month, it's 4,000 because that's what I said for the first month. But then for the next month, it's going to be 8,000. And the bubbles below are my weekly targets that I have to hit. So on average, I need to be hitting 1,000 a week. Now on the bottom, on the 1 through 7 part, that is where I will be using my planner. So the 1 through 7, usually when I write it out, is just a thing of like, what am I doing? It's 7 days in a week, kind of like what am I doing on a day-to-day basis? But I think it's very imperative. First and foremost, I'll tell you all the time, you need to have a planner. If you do not have a planner, then you need to stop this video, go on Amazon, order a planner, go on Target, order a planner, and then come back. You cannot do these things if you do not plan them out. You cannot do these things if you do not figure out how to implement them in your schedule. So some of the things that I'm going to be doing personally on my growing on YouTube, journey are figuring out what are specific days and times I'm doing everything necessary when it comes to content. So what are specific days and time I'm recording? What are specific days and times I may be reading or trying to figure out more content to talk about, looking for inspiration? What are specific days and times that I am editing my videos? I say that to say you need to figure out what are specific days and specific times so it becomes less of a I forgot. I don't want to do it. I'll do it later. No, you need to specifically tell yourself when you're doing these things. And as I said before in many videos, that's how, if something is not working for you, you can adjust it. It's very hard for you to know what's not working or what you're messing up at if you do not figure out exactly what you're doing. Similar to someone who's on their fitness journey, you need to figure out Monday, what am I doing at the gym? Tuesday, what am I doing at the gym? What time am I going? And even so much so when you go to the gym, not saying today's a leg day or tomorrow's an arm day. No, today we're doing squats, we're doing this, we're doing that. I tell you guys all the time, you need to be specific as possible. And of course, this is something that you would have to adjust every single month with new numbers. So once you have that broken down in your schedule, you can now start figuring out what are some other things that you can do, in my opinion, to make things easier. And one of the major things I personally feel like is a budget. Now, I know some people, for some things, you may not even feel like you need a budget, right? Growing on social media, you may not feel like you necessarily need a budget or things of that sort, but you do. And definitely, if you're on your fitness journey, you definitely need a budget because when I tell y'all, it gets so expensive. You need a budget. The reason why I think it's imperative for everyone to have a budget is because money issues are like one of the number one problems that we experience as far as sadness, as far as depression, as far as is one of the leading reasons of marriages ending. Is for the simple fact, for a lot of people, I think you have lack of knowing. You do not know how much money is coming out of your account, and you do not know how much money is going in your account on a consistent basis. So at the end of the month, when you look at your account and you have below what you wanted to have or what you should have, your mind goes into a panic. Your mind goes into a fuss, and now you're sad, and now you're this, and now you're that. The issue is you do not have an approximate of how much money you should be saving. How much money should you be spending if you want to go out with your friends? How much money should you be allocating to that business or so on? And even something very similar with when it comes to growing on social media. Some people may say, oh, why do you need a budget for that? You need a budget because what happens to a lot of people is you become so dependent, trust me, on the money that you get from social media, i.e. from your videos, that if a video doesn't do well, you feel sad. If a video doesn't bring in enough money, you feel stressed. And it shouldn't be that way, but it's for the simple fact that you have not created a budget. It needs to be down to the dollar amount. You know, if you go out with your friends, I cannot spend over so and so amount because that's out of my going out budget. You need to know, hey, I'm grocery shopping. I need to spend so and so amount so you can know exactly what to expect on a consistent basis. And even going into scheduling, right? Like I said before with the whole fitness thing, when you are eating on Sundays, and I did this for a while, I stopped, but I actually need to start doing it again. I did this for a while where even on Sundays, I would schedule a week of what I'm going to eat. So then the next day when I went to the grocery store, I knew exactly what I needed to buy. I did not buy anything outside of what I needed to buy. And when I tell you, it saves you so much money and it costs you to actually eat your food. Because sometimes I will buy stuff knowing I don't know what I'm gonna eat this, especially when it comes to produce and vegetables and stuff like that, fruits. You'll buy that stuff, it'll sit there, and you'll be like, oh, wait, I forgot I had these string beans. I forgot I had this broccoli. Yeah, because you never knew what you were gonna put it in. You just knew it was healthy and you trying to be healthy. I say that to say scheduling is so important and a budget is so important when it comes to scheduling. It alleviates a certain amount of stress and it allows you to know. And I don't think people understand the importance of knowing your finances. Like your finances are so imperative to give you a sense of being, to give you a sense of knowing, to actually know what you are doing. Um, I don't know. I wanted to just add that one in there because I've realized on my journey of this thing called life, one constant thing that I've struggled with, no matter what goal it was, no matter what I was doing, was just feeling a lack of not knowing my finances, not knowing what was going on. And that stress is so crazy, but that stress of my finances trickled down so much into other things that I think it caused me to have less motivation when it comes to certain things. It caused me to have less confidence when it came to certain things because my brain was so focused on I have to pay my bills. I have to pay for this. No, this is more important. I can't focus on my health and wellness if I don't know how much money I'm gonna have to pay my bills. I can't focus on starting this business if I don't know how much money I'm gonna have to put gas in my tank. And then when I actually start budgeting and having the knowing of how much money is gonna be here, how much money is not, I personally feel like it's something that allowed me to be more free when it came to other things. It's very hard to describe the feeling, but it's definitely something I would recommend everyone to do and everyone to start implementing inside of their monthly schedules of to-do list. So I hope this video was beneficial to you. I know some people are probably gonna be like, okay, but I've already tried to do a 6 month goal, or I've already tried to do this goal, the earlier the year. What's gonna make this different? One thing I hope that's gonna help make this different for you is accountability. So there are some things that I'm gonna start implementing on my channel. I want to create a more of a group setting because I know when trying to change your life, level up your life, all those other things, it can become very lonely. And sometimes you just need that accountability. You just need somebody to remind you, or you just need to know that other people are going through what you're going through and it's not just you. So, a few things that I'm doing, definitely click below to get updated for my newsletter. I'm coming out with a newsletter. This is where I will tell you guys when I release new videos, different kinds of health and wellness content of that sort. The first video or in the first newsletter will be released this Wednesday. And also make sure you sign up for that because I'm going to be creating a group chat. I have to figure out what platform I want it to be on, but that's another thing I want to start creating because I want people to feel like they're in a group. I want you to understand that other people are going through what you go through. And sometimes you may feel down or sometimes you just need help. So I definitely will be creating that. And I also will start doing these live events. So like I said, I showed you guys the goal tracker. I showed you guys the budget and all those things. But I know first and foremost, for a lot of people, you're going to have to adjust them as time goes on. You're going to have to get used to them. And not just that, you're going to have to actually remember how to do them and want to sometimes feel like you want to do them and be reminded of it. So I'm going to start consistently doing live events where once a month, in the beginning of the month and then towards the end of the month, I'm going to do monthly budgets. And then I'm also going to be doing the monthly goal breakdowns. And then I have to figure out the schedule for it. So like I said, go in the bottom and click on my newsletter because I'm also going to have like girl talks. I feel like, don't get me wrong, self growth is great. I make self growth content. I love self growth, but at the same time, self growth and implementing these good steps and these happy steps are just a portion of life. Like, there's other things we go through, like stress, like relationships, friendships. There's so much that intertwine into sometimes you really just not feeling like you want to go to the gym or you not feeling like you want to eat healthy. And it's not directly you, it's just you're going through so many other things. And I personally know how it can feel like it's just you. So I'm going to start having weekly, just like girl talks, and I'm going to be doing them on YouTube Live, but I have to figure out the exact day and time. I'm thinking about Sunday. Comment below which days you like me to do it. I'm thinking about Sundays. Not sure the specific time, but it definitely will be Eastern Standard Time. So Definitely sign up for my newsletter so you can be aware about that. But thank you guys so much for watching my videos. You guys have been giving me so much support lately. So thank y'all so much. And just know we have 6 months left. We have all, like, don't think that, oh, I could only accomplish one thing. I could only do 2 things. Those things can give you the push, the energy for the following year to accomplish 3, 4 things. You still have time left. Do not give up on yourself. Do not give up on your goals. Do not allow life to just push you anyway. And the year might be good or it might not. No, you're going to figure out what this year is going to be because you have specific goals that are manageable, that you're going to achieve, that you are going to break down to end up having a life that you would have. And who doesn't want that for themselves? Because I know I do. So thank y'all so much for watching my video. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit the bell to turn on my post notifications so you're notified every time I upload a video.